So today's the first day in a couple of weeks that it's been warm enough to take a walk and actually enjoy it. So last night I go to a place with a friend of mine, we'll say Jay. Everybody here knows who I'm talking about, but the rest of the world doesn't need to. But me and Jay are hanging out at a local watering hole called Friends. And it's a great place. If you get by town, it's an awesome place to hang out at and listen to some occasionally good, but mostly very bad karaoke, as karaoke tends to be. I don't sing karaoke because I have too much self-respect. I know that I suck and I don't want to torment others, and I want my dignity intact when I leave as when I entered. And this is actually a pretty nice place. It's pretty diverse. All different backgrounds of people, all different ages of people. It's not like the kind of place that a stripper would just come up and start talking to you. Foreshadowing. Now, Jay's boyfriend, let's call him P, because again, everybody knows who I'm talking about, but all of YouTube doesn't need to. You know, the names have been changed to protect the guilty. Jay and I get by there quite a bit more than P does, because he actually is a responsible adult and has things to do, unlike us. We have nothing to do but drink and watch people sing karaoke. Anyway, we're just sitting there chit-chatting away, and some cute little 5'2" blonde just bebops up and sits down at our table and says hi to Jay. I know you. And Jay's like, from where? Do I know you? I don't know you. Do I know you? Playing along, I'm like, oh, clearly she knows you, Jay. Why don't you know her? And then the little blonde looks at me and says, he knows me. What's happening here? And she goes, you used to come into my place where I worked all the time. And she introduces herself as Daisy. Well, Jay makes a fatal error here and pretends to remember who Daisy is. She runs off and comes back with her boyfriend. Now, she's about 5'2". Sorry, but it's going to be bouncy for the rest of this walk because the battery on the gimbal just died. Now, like I was saying, she's about 5'2", but her boyfriend comes up and he appears to me to be about 5'4", full beard, great big hat. He actually kind of looked like a mini Chris Stapleton. He looks rather pissed. Like this dude's like waiting for an excuse to start throwing hands. And she just starts going on and on about how wonderful her life's been and how she really misses that she hasn't seen Jay in her place of work lately. Then they both leave the table to go out and smoke a cigarette or something. Now she comes back and he goes to the bathroom and she starts telling us all about how he's just a shitty boyfriend. He's apparently good in bed, but he doesn't communicate and he doesn't talk and he doesn't express himself and he's just angry all the time. And I'm starting to get an idea why he might be angry all the time, with her telling everybody all about their business. Then she says, Jay, you still have me. Now I'm saying this, she did not know Jay's name. But anyway, she says, you still have me on Facebook, right? Although she introduced herself and said, you remember me, I'm Daisy. Well, then she gives a different first name and then says, you should come by again because I'm still working at the club. And slowly, for me anyway, the penny begins to drop. This girl is a stripper and she thinks that Jay used to come in there all the time. So when they get up and leave this time together, I asked Jay, you used to hang out at a strip club? She's like, no. Yeah, sure you didn't. Anyway, I go to pay the tab. Jay's talking to the bouncer. I get up there in time to hear her saying, yeah, and this girl's apparently a stripper and thinks I used to come into the club. And right before I get there up to her, here comes Daisy again. Yes, I did air quotes. They were apropos. And Daisy just goes up to the bouncer and says, hey, Jay, and points at me and goes, her man, Jay and her man, used to come into my strip club all the time, then names the strip club. They used to come in there all the time, but I haven't seen them in such a long time and what have you, and blah, 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 blah. The bouncer knows that Jay and P are a couple, not me and Jay. So he looked at us, looked at her, knew that she was full of crap, but I just couldn't stand to listen to it. I walked away and we went and had some pizza, and we're trying to figure out who's pulling whose leg here. I mean, was this a sociological or psychological experiment that this woman was doing? Is she actually a stripper? I think yes. I'll say it again. No wonder her boyfriend just looks so pissed off all the time. But here's the deal. If you're gonna date a stripper, there are certain things that you should probably expect, and I would think that inappropriate public behavior might be high on the list. I could be wrong. I've never dated a stripper. This lady's walking her dog, and I'm out here talking into my camera about strippers. She was nice and waved, but I'm pretty sure she's happy she has a big dog with her. Anyway, there's no real point to this story at all, other than I just thought it was funny, and maybe you will too. If she does show back up again, I have no doubt she'll come up and start talking to us again. First question out of my mouth is going to be, what's my name? And what is her name? And just kind of, call her out a little bit. Because I don't think there's anything wrong with anybody that works at a strip club or goes to a strip club. Just like I don't think there's probably anything wrong with anybody that dates Jay. I just don't want to get roped into being the one accused of dating Jay. Wait, that's not what I meant to say. Or was it? In all seriousness, what I don't want to get roped into has nothing to do with strip clubs or who's dating who, so much as it has to do with being associated with hanging out with this person on a regular basis, at her work, out of her work, anywhere, because she seemed to be kind of a super flake. I know some of you have probably said that about me, but I'll own my own stuff. She can have hers. Anyway, the next couple of weeks are going to have me in Mobile, Alabama again. So might take a little more thorough tour of the USS Alabama while I'm there. And also week after that, San Antonio, Texas. It's going to be a brief visit, but I've never been there before, so we'll get some exploring done. Hopefully get something posted. Meanwhile, you guys stay safe and stay warm. I should have brought gloves.